Clayton Echard speaks out about why he dumped Rachel again. August 2, 2025. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Bachelor Nation News fans. On this season of Perfect Match, Clayton Echard and Rachel Recchia met up once again. These two had a relationship when he was on The Bachelor. When they met back up on this Netflix hit, they decided to couple up right away. Then, all of a sudden, after about 24 hours, Clayton told Rachel it was over and he basically never should have coupled up with her. Now he is speaking out and defending himself for this one. Clayton Echard reveals why he ended things so fast. Clayton talked to people and spoke out about why he ended things so fast. He didn't even give Rachel a chance, but he is defending himself for that decision. Here is what he had to say. When I woke up, my heart dropped, and I felt this pit in my stomach, and I realized that wasn't the right decision. At that point, I gave it the day, made sure that that was the correct feeling and that it didn't go away, and it didn't. And so at that point, I thought, this is hard, but it's only going to be worse if I try to drag it and take more time. Clayton shares how he thinks the fans will feel. Clayton Echard is also sharing how he thinks the fans will feel about it all. He does think he did the best thing. Echard thinks that some fans will be upset with him and that others will see his side of it. Rachel was obviously upset as she told him she couldn't believe he did it again and stormed off crying. On Perfect Match, she seems to have moved on just fine though, since Clayton dumped her. He knows that he is going to get some negativity because of his decision, but Clayton is okay with that. He thinks he did the right thing, so he doesn't feel bad about it. Another thing he said is that he might do another dating show again. Clayton still hasn't found love, but he is hoping that it will end up happening for him. Reality TV just may not be the best way to do it. Were you shocked to see Clayton Echard dump Rachel Recchia again after such a short time? Did you think that these two would last? Sound off in the comments below on your thoughts. Perfect Match has more episodes on August 8th, 2025.
The whispers return. The sun was barely rising over Los Angeles, but the storm had already begun online. Tweets, Instagram stories, and Reddit threads exploded with disbelief. "He did it again?" was the most repeated phrase as fans of The Bachelor processed the news. Clayton Echard had ended things with Rachel Recchia for the second time. To most fans, it felt like déjà vu. Hadn't Rachel endured enough heartbreak after that unforgettable finale where Clayton confessed he was in love with 3 women? Hadn't she rebuilt her life with dignity only to fall into his arms again months later? This time, though, Clayton wasn't running. He was speaking. One last chance. 6 months before the breakup bombshell, The Bachelor redemption season was pitched. An idea so outrageous, so vulnerable, it almost didn't make it past the ABC boardroom. But when Rachel and Clayton both agreed to join for closure and maybe more, fans were hooked. The cameras followed their reconnection like hawks, long walks in Santa Barbara, tearful apologies over wine, therapy sessions. But the public didn't see everything, especially what really happened when the cameras stopped rolling. "We decided to give it one more try. No producers, no pressure," Clayton shared in his tell-all interview with People. "Just us. And I really thought it was going to be forever this time." It wasn't. What really broke them? "Rachel and I love each other, no doubt," Clayton began as he leaned forward, his voice raw. "But love alone isn't enough when you're pretending to be people you're not." He described how, after the redemption season ended, they moved into a quiet home in Scottsdale, Arizona. No paparazzi, no rose ceremonies, just Clayton, Rachel, and the truth. "I realized Rachel needed validation in ways I didn't know how to give," he said. "I'd catch her staring at old photos from our first season or scrolling through fan comments about us. She was always chasing something, maybe an ideal version of me I couldn't live up to anymore." But Rachel's version of the story? It was different. Rachel breaks her silence. "Clayton wanted peace. I wanted passion," Rachel wrote on her Instagram story after Clayton's People feature. Her post rocked up over 1 million views in a matter of hours. She didn't name him directly, but fans knew. "I was tired of walking on eggshells. I loved the man, but he wasn't leading anymore. He wanted to be friends who kissed occasionally." Friends who kissed. The words hit Bachelor Nation like a slap. And then she dropped the real bomb. He was texting Susie late at night. Maybe innocent, maybe not. Susie Evans? The Susie from the original Triangle, the one who once walked out on Clayton before Rachel ever got her first fantasy suite date. Could history really be repeating itself? Susie responds. Within 24 hours, Susie Evans took to her YouTube vlog to clear the air. "I was checking on him," Susie said. "That's it. When you've been through trauma together on national TV, you don't stop caring just because a relationship ends." But the internet wasn't buying it. Screenshots surfaced. A late-night "miss talking to you" message from Clayton. A heart emoji from Susie at 1:13 a.m. Was it cheating? Maybe not. But betrayal? Fans said yes. Clayton responded fast, and his answer surprised everyone. The confession no one expected. "I think I wanted Susie to tell me not to marry Rachel," Clayton admitted during a podcast appearance on the Viall Files. The room went silent. Nick Viall blinked. "Wait, you were looking for an out?" Clayton nodded slowly. Yeah. Deep down, I knew Rachel and I weren't going to last. I was holding on to something that was already broken." Bachelor Nation went nuclear. Comments flooded the podcast's page. So he used Rachel again? This is actually worse than season 26. At least this time he's being honest, but damn. The ring no one saw. In the weeks leading up to the second breakup, Rachel had already hinted something was wrong. She skipped out on 2 joint podcast interviews. She stopped posting couple photos. But then came the final heartbreak. She returned the ring. Clayton shared, "She didn't even say a word, just placed it on the counter, got in her car, and drove off." He waited 2 days before calling her. She said, "I'm done being your second best decision." Then she hung up. Those words haunted Clayton. A letter he never sent. In his private journal, which he shared excerpts of on Instagram, Clayton had written a letter to Rachel. Fans clung to every word. "Rachel, if love was enough, you'd still be here. If apologies were magic, we'd be dancing in our living room again. But I failed you, not by loving someone else, but by not loving myself enough to know when to walk away before I hurt you again. See." He never sent it, but the world read it. Rachel responded with only one tweet. "Don't confuse guilt with love." Bachelor Nation divided. The fandom was split in 2. Team Rachel called for accountability, asking why she was allowed to be a test subject for Clayton's emotional growth. Team Clayton said he was brave to tell the truth, even if it hurt. Others just wanted everyone to stop dating each other on TV. But behind the drama was something more tragic. 2 people who had every reason to make it work, but couldn't outrun their past. And the producers? Well, they smelled another spin-off. Where are they now? Rachel Recchia has signed on for her own podcast titled No Roses, Just Realness. Her first guest, Gabby Windey. She's also rumored to be dating a Dallas-based cardiologist, someone far removed from the Bachelor world. Clayton Echard is writing a memoir titled The Bachelor I Was, The Man I'm Becoming. He's currently in therapy and living in Denver, keeping a low profile. As for Susie Evans, she's single and made it clear she has no intention of rejoining the franchise. But rumors say producers are casting for a new series, The X-Files, Love After the Rose. And guess who's being courted for it? The Real Reason. Weeks later, on a solo IG Live, Clayton finally told fans the real reason he left Rachel again. It wasn't just Susie. It wasn't just the pressure. It was this simple, awful truth. Rachel made me want to be someone I'm not. She deserved the world, and I was still learning how to hold a compass. He paused before continuing. I left because I didn't want her to settle for a version of me I was pretending to be. That's not love. That's guilt in a tux. Healing in the spotlight. Breakups in private are hard. Breakups on camera are war zones. And yet Rachel and Clayton are both healing in their own ways, through transparency, therapy, and, yes, a little bit of clickbait. Their story might never be a fairy tale, but it's real. messy, human. And maybe that's what Bachelor Nation needed all along.